Welcome to the Create the Life You Want podcast, where we break down the journey of people just like you going from dream to ownership in business acquisitions, franchises, and startups. I'm your host, Jeremy Ames. Today's episode is brought to you ad-free by Guidant Financial. Guidant is America's leading company helping aspiring entrepreneurs use retirement funds to buy or start businesses. If you're committed to buying or starting a business, you can find out more about your funding options by going to www.guidantfinancial.com. That's Guidant financial.com. Now, let's get started with the show. Hi, I'm excited today to spend some time with Sally Roberson. Sally started a company called the Vanilla Bean Baking Company. They are smack dab in the middle of Tennessee. Not quite Nashville, but not quite Chattanooga, somewhere in between the two. Yeah. And Sally had a dream that had been percolating for a long time of potentially opening a coffee shop and bakery. And that's exactly what she did. So Sally, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'd love to start with having you just tell us a little bit about your business. Like, what is it that you do and how long have you been doing it for?
Okay. It's a bakery coffee house. So we have all kinds of baked goods, muffins, scones, cookies. We do custom cakes and we have a full espresso bar. So we can do anything Starbucks can do, basically. And I'm in a small town in Tennessee and we have no Starbucks, which I'm thankful for. And so they all come to us, and actually we just won best of the best in the county. So yay.
What does best of the best mean? Is there just a regular best list and then there's the best of the best list?
No, they just do a best of the best of the county. And there's like a list of restaurants and businesses and just a cross section of everything the county offers. And we won best chocolate chip cookie and best coffee.
Okay,
and
I
in
want
the
to try
past,
that.
we've won best desserts and best place to hear gossip. It's fun. It's just everybody votes. You can vote once a day, and so you get all your customers and your family to vote, and so it's an honor, and we are the best coffee. So,
Well, and not only do I need to try that chocolate chip cookie, but I think it's super telling what your community is like when you have an award for the best place to gossip. That's awesome.
I love that one. I don't know. I haven't heard what the second and third place is. They only told me what the first place was because it just happened a couple days ago.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
I know. I don't know what else we won, but yeah, it's fun. And so anyway, back to the question. We decided, my daughter Kayla, who's not here, she left already, but we decided that we wanted to do a small business because we moved to Tennessee and we really didn't know anybody. And we needed something to do, basically, her and I, because we didn't know anybody in town and we're just trying to get established and meet people, and she needed a career. And so we're like, let's just do it. Let's just go for it and do the baking. I love the coffee. I worked at Starbucks years ago, and I was bitten by that coffee bug that once you work in a coffee shop, you just love it. It's just so fun. And you get to know your customers and what their favorite drink is, and you know their life, and you become like best friends with all your customers. And so we started looking for property and, jump back to Guidant, where my husband heard about the Rob's program. And so we got in contact with Guidant and got all that set up through his 401k. And so then we decided we wanted to own the building. I didn't want to rent. And so we started looking around for property, and Main Street is really up and coming. When we did this, now it's booming. It's the place to be. But so 7 years ago, there was only a few businesses that were really happening on Main Street. And in the 7 years, everybody wants to be down here. It's great. And
yeah, so you hit the timing right and you own the building. So nobody's kicking you out anytime soon or raising your rent.
No, and I can do what I want. That's the best part about owning your own business. You can do what you want when you want, but it's a lot of work. And so we found the building. It wasn't for sale. It was empty. She wasn't using it. And luckily, my realtor with some kind of short tail relative. And so he talked to her and she's like, no, I don't want to sell it. And then a few months later, this went back and forth for a while. It took 6 months to finally convince her to sell it. And
Yeah.
so we got it and we totally gutted it. It's a 100-year-old building. It has the exposed brick walls, the tin ceiling. It's awesome. And the best part is my building has front door access and back door access. There's a parking lot behind me, and I have so people can park back there if they don't want to parallel park out front, or
Yeah.
the meter reader guy. Well, it's not really a meter reader. It's free parking, but you got 2 hours, so you don't have to
Yeah.
move your car. And so it's the perfect spot. There's this little cute alleyway next to me that people can walk to the farmer's market. I mean, it's the perfect location. And so if that girl wasn't going to sell this building, it's like I didn't even want to do it. It's like that's where I want to be.
You fell in love with the spot. Um,
Yes.
I'm I'm curious, the building you bought, are you occupying 100% of the space that's there, or is there's other space you have that you lease out or do other things with?
No, it's 2,000 square foot. And so my counter, I'm in the front where the tables, and then my counter and my kitchen. I have a kitchen back, a full baking kitchen back there, and then a hallway, and it goes back to the bathroom, and then a pantry, and then a utility room, storage. And so we're using the whole 2,000 square foot, and
Perfect.
we could probably use more room, but but it's perfect. And a lot of these buildings have upstairs, but I don't have an upstairs.
Got it.
So,
So
but
let's take a step back because I'm very curious to hear what put the bug in your head about owning your own business. Like how long has this seed been germinating? And what was the final trigger that sort of pushed you over the edge?
that's funny because we talked about doing a business. I lived in Texas before we moved to Tennessee. We were in Houston, and we talked about doing a take and bake pizza because the like the Papa Murphy's type of where
Yep.
the pizza's put together, but you take it home and bake it.
Yep.
And we were going to call it Texas Fresh, and so we were wanting to do a business when we lived in Texas, and we made up recipes and we thought about it, and it just never happened. And so, but I've always loved to cook and bake, and it's just been a passion of mine. And then my daughter got it too. She inherited the passion for baking and creating, and she's such an artist. She's an amazing artist. And it was just like the perfect, once we got to Tennessee and we started doing it out of the house, we entered these little baking contests around town, and we won first place. And she can decorate cakes. Like I sent your assistant that picture of a cake Kayla did.
Yeah, she showed it to me. It's amazing.
Isn't that awesome? I know
Looks
it's one of
like
my favorites.
I asked her, are those real flowers on the outside of that thing?
They're real dried flowers that she placed each one on there, and
Yeah.
I know it's so cool. And so she has this talent that we needed to do something with, and so basically we've helped her, hone her craft. And so she does all the custom cakes. Somebody will send a picture and she'll recreate it. And we stay booked up. We're booked up through August on custom orders. Then we do weddings
Oh, wow.
and
So you
birthday
have a queue of
cakes.
these things. There's only so many that you can process.
Yeah, yeah. We take one wedding a weekend, and a lot of times we'll do like 2 or 3 birthday cakes or other decorated sugar cookies. She does amazing decorated sugar cookies. But all this stuff takes time. So we only take a few custom orders a week. And then we fill our cases that people can just come in and buy. It's like grab and go type of deal here.
Yep.
Where I and we kind of divide it in half. She does all the cupcakes, the cakes, and some of the breakfast casseroles, and I do all the scones, the muffins, the cookies. And so I am very hands-on in the kitchen. And so sometimes I struggle juggling the business side and the baking side
Yeah.
because I don't know, I need to delegate more, but then nobody can make the cookies like I make the cookies, and that's terrible to say, but it's true. We've had assistants in the kitchen, and it just hasn't, we're very picky about our
Yeah.
quality. And so it's usually just me and Kayla in the kitchen doing everything.
Well, let me ask you
So,
this question, Sally, because I'm curious. Sounds like you've had the idea to be a business owner for a while, and you went
mhm.
down the path of thinking through one pretty deeply when you were in Texas. Like,
Yeah.
what was different about the second time? So you'd already gone down this path before. What was it that held you back in Texas versus what got you to the point in Tennessee where you said, "We're all in, let's go"?
Yeah. I guess in Texas, my kid, my kids were still in school. Kayla, when we moved to Tennessee, Kayla had just graduated from high school. She was like first year of college. And so I guess it was like, okay, the kids are done with school. We're leaving Houston. It was kind of like a fresh start here in Tennessee. And there's a lot less to do in a small town. And we didn't know as many people. It was more of a, what are we
So
going to do with our life?
boredom and loneliness is the secret
Boarding and
recipe to small business start.
right, right. Yeah, and it was because baking already has always been a hobby. I never really thought about putting it into a business in Texas, but it kind of like evolved into
Yeah.
that here. And
Well,
because I've always loved to do it.
yeah, well, a lot of people give the advice, don't do the thing that is your hobby or you're passionate about because you're going to learn to hate it. I'd be super
Oh,
curious to understand, how has that experience
no.
been for you and
No,
how has
I
that played
just
out?
love it. Oh, I love it. Baking is my favorite part of it. If I didn't have to do any of the business stuff, I'd be so happy because I would just rather be in the kitchen baking. You know, I'm happiest when I'm in there creating and making food for people and making them happy and that, they love it. And that just, I don't know, that just fuels me to do more. But I don't know if,
So the
yeah,
honest
I can't see hating it.
so the honest truth is you don't want to delegate making the cookies.
I don't. I really don't. Yeah, I know. And even my daughter made the cookies one time, and my granddaughter, she's 9. She's like, Gigi didn't make these cookies. And Kayla's like, how do you know that? She's like, I made them.
They don't
And it
taste
was
like
so funny.
they don't taste like they were made with love.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is so true. If you are in a bad mood, it's not going to turn out. Or if you're, not confident in what you're making. Like today, I made pineapple upside down, a new recipe of pineapple upside down cake for the first time, and I was just so nervous because she had put it on the menu. We post our menu every week, and so it's like it's on the menu. It's got to get out there. And I was so nervous because I had never used that recipe, and it turned out great. So I was relieved, So it is stressful, because you don't want to disappoint your customers. And we we've been really busy. We were closed last week for vacation, and so this week has just been crazy busy. And
Yeah.
tomorrow's our 6-year anniversary birthday party, and so we're gonna have a
Congratulations.
big bash every year on our birthday. We have a big bash, and we give away gift cards and mini cupcakes and ten
How big
percent
of a
off.
cake did you make for this thing?
Um, did you want to see it?
For
My
real?
daughter.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
yeah. Hang on.
Okay.
There's the cake we
Look
made.
at
It's
that.
not very big. It's just like a 3-layer 6-inch,
Yeah, so
but
it's like it's a decorative example and then you're going to give away the cupcakes.
yeah,
Love it.
it's a 50s theme sock hop. So there it
Oh,
is.
fun.
We always make a smaller cake because we have this cupcake tower. And so we always make a smaller cake to put on top, and then we fill it with a bunch of mini cupcakes that we give out to the customers when they come in. And so in the past, we have made like a huge sheet cake and cut it up, but it's just easier to grab a little cupcake.
Yep, sounds like
But we
it.
always put a lot of effort into our birthdays.
That's great. Sally, I want to ask you about a couple things that you mentioned earlier. You said you had worked at Starbucks before
Hmm.
and you had had this experience where you knew you just loved this making coffee, connecting with people in an environment where they were coming in to do whatever, and then you loved baking.
Mhm.
So it seems really logical that these two things sort of came together in a business. How has the actual business differed from what you were expecting when you had this vision or this dream in your mind of these two things that you love and know about yourself, having them come
Yep.
together?
We first thought about the bakery part. We put all our time and effort into the bakery part. And then the coffee was just supposed to be like an added fluff, just a little extra because it goes so well with the baking. Coffee is half my business.
Wow.
It is crazy. People are crazy about their coffee. And so I was shocked that, I mean, it's 50-50. It's like you could draw a line down it. It's 50-50 baking and coffee. And so that was the biggest surprise and shock is how big a business coffee is.
Yeah.
And especially when you don't have competition in town. There's a few coffee shops stirring right now that they're building, and it's like a condo. They've refurbished this big condo building behind us, and we heard they're putting a little coffee shop in the lobby. And it's like, oh, we got some competition. But they're customers. The owners are customers of mine. And I'm like, don't be coming in here stealing my ideas and my it's a small town. But
Yep.
and then there's this other little hut, the Coffee Cat, that's in town. But yeah, there's really not a lot of competition. So I'm really lucky for the last 6 years that if you want good coffee, you come here. And
Yeah.
so I'm curious to see how their coffee's going to be. But I have excellent coffee. It's from a roaster in Franklin, Honest Coffee it's called. And
Yeah.
they've been I've bought their coffee since I opened, and I won't change. I've had people come in here all the time trying to get me to change my coffee, and it's like, "No, I got the best. I will never change unless
Sounds
they
like
stop."
two of the recipes for your success have been A, you found a sort of perfect place that was in an up and coming area. So you built this and then the things started to fill in around you. And then second is you got into a line of business where there just wasn't a lot of competition in your area for at least the level that you provide.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else you look back in hindsight and go, hey, this was really critical for us, or I'm super glad that this is how it played out?
Hmm. I think things through very thoroughly. And so, like the location, I knew the location is like the the main thing. It's because there's parts of town it's like they're never gonna make it because they're in that location. It's like nobody's
Yep.
gonna go there. And so that's why I didn't even want to do it if I couldn't have this location because I knew it wouldn't be as successful as this place, as this spot. And so I don't know. I really overthink things. So it's like if it's not going to work, I don't do it,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Most
know
people
that.
who Most people who would say they overthink things never end up making decisions and moving forward. So
Oh,
how did you get over that? How did you get over the need for perfection to move forward?
I don't know. I struggle with that, because when you're the owner of the business, you're always seeing stuff that needs to be done or something that could be done better and that's why I'm always the first here and the last one to leave because, I have to make sure everything's the way it should be. So, I don't know. I don't know. When we opened this place, I was turning 50. And so maybe I had some like midlife crisis. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to do it. It's like, let's just go for broke. I don't care. It's like, I don't know. It was just kind of like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt? My
What do you
husband's
think?
401k. No.
So, Sally, what is the underlying motivation that really drove you to want to start this business?
To help Kayla, my
To help
daughter.
Kayla. Interesting. Just because you saw the talent that she had and you had this vision for how to tap into that talent and give her some purpose and
Yeah. And she
financial.
hates, it's going to make me emotional. Um, She hates when I say that though. She hates it.
Why does she hate
I
that?
don't know. I guess she feels responsible or on the day she doesn't want to come to work, she feels she's an artist, so
Yeah,
she's more, how artists are. She's very hard on herself. She thinks everything could be better. She's a perfectionist too.
yeah.
And so she's hard on herself, but she's amazing. And so it was her. She didn't
How
want to
much?
come to Tennessee, and
No.
we drug her here because she was 19 and she didn't want to, so
How
this,
much? I'm curious, and I want to ask for your utter honesty here. How much of the motivation for you was, if I start this, I can get Kayla to come live here and I'll get to see her all the time and work with her?
well, she lived here
Okay.
and was she was married and she had her daughter already. So she was pretty established here. She wasn't going anywhere because she married a local boy. And so I don't know. I guess I just wanted to help her. And then we get along really good. We have a great relationship. We're a lot alike and we're completely different. She's like my husband. So it's like we get along really well. And my husband still has his regular job. He's on the payroll, but he doesn't really work except for his 1,000 hours that all the anytime anything breaks, he's the one
He's the guy.
coming.
He's the guy you turn to.
He's the guy, yeah. Yeah, and so like he was here today fixing the ice machine, so and setting
So,
up my Chrome because I didn't have Chrome on the computer.
so you really wanted to help Kayla. What did you
Yeah.
hope owning a business was going to do for you?
Hmm. Well, I think it was going to help me feel like this was more like home. Like it was basically getting us involved in the community. And because it's a smaller town, the city itself is like 14,000. And so everybody knew everybody and we didn't know anybody. I know so
Yeah.
many people now, it's crazy
Well,
how many
that's the best place to gossip. So I'm sure you know
it
everybody
is.
now,
It
whether they come
is.
in or not.
I know, right? It's funny. And my husband, he's not as social as I am, and so he's like, I like my anonymity. Nobody knows us. It's like, well, everybody knows us now because they, come in the coffee shop. But I like that. I like being part of the community and Main Street is awesome. All the business owners, we all get along. They have a Main Street, Mcminnville, they call it, where an association that helps all the businesses and is very supportive. The chamber is very supportive here. And so it's just, it is a really great little town. We have a good time down here and it's the place to be and so I'm so glad I'm on Main Street. It's just,
Yeah.
it's perfect. And I think of all the other businesses and it's like, oh, I feel bad for them. They're not down here.
Well, and the great part is you own the building. So you got sort of a double investment, right? You got the business
Yes.
that's sitting there, but you also got the real estate that has value. It sounds like that value has probably gone up as Main Street has become the
Tennessee
place to
is
be.
crazy. Since we've moved here, it has just gone crazy. In Nashville is
Booming.
it and Murfreesboro, which is another big town near us. Everybody's moving here. I don't know. We started a trend. We've been here 11 years now, so
Yeah, but you were one of the first. Well, let
I'm
me
the
ask you this,
first.
Sally. Uh, we've been talking about a lot of the things that went right. What didn't go as expected as you were going down this path? Once you found the building, that sounded like that was the pivot point. Once she agreed to sell it, it's we're all in.
Yeah. Then
But
finding a contractor to renovate it. That was we were lucky we found a really good contractor. Everything fell into place, so it made it kind of like this is meant to be. And then so we gutted the whole place and it took 6 months to get it up and running and which was really fast actually, I thought.
yeah,
And we bought the building in January, we opened in June. And so people were excited because at the time there was no bakery, no coffee house, nothing, exciting down here going on. And getting people to come down Main Street because there was for so many years, there was no reason to come down Main Street, and now there is. And so people still 6 years later are like, oh, I didn't know you were here. It's just like, okay. But then this was 2018, 2020. Oh, COVID
Yeah.
happened,
Tell us about
which
COVID.
COVID actually, I hate to say this, but COVID was good for my business. It
How so?
was, we closed, for the initial shock of everybody, how everybody closed down and didn't know what was going to happen. And it was 5 weeks. Everybody went on unemployment, did that. And then finally, after 5 weeks, we're like, you know what? This is the South. So, we're a little more conservative here. We're like, heck with it. Let's just open. Who cares? And so we did. We opened back up, and slowly everybody else was opening back up too. Oh my God, we've been so busy since then. It was unbelievable. It almost doubled my business.
Wow. Is that because people were so cooped up they just wanted to get out and be around other people, or what? What do you
Yeah,
attribute it to?
yeah, I think so. Everybody's attitude just kind of changed. It was, I don't know. The minute we opened back up, it was just like, boom, it took
Yeah.
off. And we're like, okay. And it's still the same, it's still growing. So we were saying this year, it's like it seems even busier every day. I don't know why I still do this. We try to predict if it's going to be busy or slow. I don't know why, because we're always wrong. It's like, oh, it's hot out, it's raining. We always have, we try to figure out, and then it's busy, and it's like, wow, what's everybody doing? But school's out, and when school makes a difference, which you would think when school is out, you'd be busier, but it's opposite. I
Yeah.
don't know why. And so when school gets out, we started a happy hour from 2 to 4. We started that happy hour, kind of like Sonic does,
Yeah.
um, half off drinks, just because we're not getting the after school crowd. We,
Yep.
we have a big after school crowd. And so we notice in summertime, it's a little slow in the afternoon. So we do little incentives to get people in the door.
Smart.
But, oh, and then after COVID, the sewer, this 100-year-old building, which the sewer was put in like 1934 or something, and the sewer went out.
Oof.
$21,000 later.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's when you own the building.
Yep.
And so I fought with the city because my sewer line goes through the back parking lot toward the farmer's market. And so they were going to have to dig up the parking lot. And so I told the city, look at all I'm doing for your downtown. You got to help me out here. It's like, these are old, all this infrastructure is old, but you all want us down here renovating these buildings. It's like, what are you going to do to help us? And so they paid for the parking lot. So it was like
Wow.
$6,000. I know.
That's
I
brilliant.
know. I know. Yeah, we have a really good mayor. He's a really nice guy. But so
And
yeah, that was a
he wanted to
setback.
keep getting those chocolate chip cookies, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's a customer, so, and his wife and kids too. So yeah, and they have grants. They have some grants going on right now for if people on Main Street need a new awning or something. But
Yeah.
so
So
yeah, the sewer went out. So that was
when
a setback.
yeah, it sounds like a big surprise
Yeah.
in terms of expense. Now, when you started the business, did you start out with some kind of financial plan where you had modeled out what you thought it was going to do and how much cash you had to do it? How did you
Yeah,
think through that?
well, the majority of the 401k cash we took out was for the renovation. And then we reserved a chunk of it for operating costs. And so I'm still sitting, I still got my operating cost plus. I've never had to borrow money or take out of my own money. It's been, it's successful.
How
It's a
long,
successful business.
yeah, how long did it take for the business to get profitable?
Um, I feel like it was like right off the get-go. It wasn't, well, for the
with you
actually
and Kayla working for free? Or
not Kayla
no?
working for free, but I did. I forgot about that. It's been 6 years. The first year I didn't take any pay,
Okay.
and because I wanted to keep my account, I never wanted my account to drop below a certain amount because I like that comfort zone of operating costs. And it is a good thing, because like when the sewer went out, I didn't have to borrow money,
Yeah.
or whenever anything else breaks down, I didn't have to borrow money. And so I spend a lot of I feel like I'm still spending a lot because I'm not super profitable, but I'm paying 4 salaries and paying all my bills, and I'm not below that amount that I'm
Yeah.
above, way above that amount that I started with. And so I'm still trying to figure it out basically.
Yeah. What's
And
well, we all are. We
I'm
all
always
are.
looking for the better deal, with the rising cost of products though is just
Yeah.
killing me. Butter
Yeah.
has doubled
Double? Well, you
since
can't bake
COVID.
without butter.
No, no. And so
So,
I'm always looking for the better deal.
yeah, and how much have you been able to raise prices as a result?
I've raised prices a few times. It's been a little bit since I've raised prices. We kind of do it slowly. We'll
Yeah.
do like a quarter here, a quarter there. And coffee's been about a year since I raised any prices. Cause you kind of, it's like, how much can you charge for a muffin? I'm already at $4. I'm not gonna, it's hard
Yeah.
to justify that. But then we pretty much sell pretty much, sometimes we throw stuff out, but pretty much sell everything we make. And
Yeah.
so that is great. It's like we know how much to make now and what sells and what doesn't, so we've been pretty lucky and fortunate.
And what's your ultimate dream or vision for the business? Or are you already living it? Help me understand what you're building toward.
Well, we just kind of, I don't know, we just go along. Um Kayla says that she doesn't want to do it without me. It's like we're kind of like you get one, you get the other type. It's like if one's not here, then the other one doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's kind of up to her. She's 30, and I'm not. And so I tell her, it's like I'm not going to do this forever. So I don't know, because everybody just assumes she'll take it over and it'll be hers and she'll run it, and
Yeah.
she's just like, I don't know, I can't do that. I don't want to do it without mom. And so I'm not really sure on that. We'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. Fair
But
enough.
but yeah, but we do
Uh,
have to
I
pay the 401k back, so
I'm curious to ask a question from something you said earlier. You said we were closed down last week because we went on vacation. And
hmm
I want to hear more about that because I think a lot of people, when they buy a business, they become a sort of slave to that business. So I think it's really unique and interesting that you decided, hey, I want to go on vacation, so this is what I'm going to do. So where did that come from? How long you been doing it?
we we are kind of, I don't think I'm the typical business owner, so I don't know, because we take off about 4 weeks a year,
And you
just
just closed down
because.
for those weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
Occasionally, Kayla will run, like if I need to go somewhere, me and my husband need to go somewhere, like we went to a baking show in Las Vegas, and then Kayla ran it for a couple days. But any more than like 3 or 4 days, well, we're only open 4 days a week. We're open Wednesday through Saturday
So you're not even open on
because
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Sundays.
no, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're closed. But a year ago, I changed the schedule because it used to be Tuesday through Saturday. And
Yeah.
Kayla and I would come in on Monday and do all the prep. So we were only getting Sunday off. And so we were getting very burnout of,
Yeah.
everything we got to. Bakeries are a lot of work. If you're
Yeah.
going to open a bakery, it's a lot of work. And
But
so we were here 6 days a week. And so a year ago, July, we cut out Tuesday. And so now we have a full Sunday and Monday off. come in Tuesday, do a lot of prep, get ready for the week. And because we open at 7 in the morning. And so I get here at 5. She gets here about 5:15, 5:30. She lives 40 minutes away too, so she has
Holy
to
cow.
drive. I know, but long story. But she now what was I saying? I lost my
I don't know, but I just want to take a second to say, Sally, that is amazing. I think so many people, when they start a business, they think that they have to do whatever the business needs to be the biggest it can be. And what I'm hearing from your story is that you didn't want a life that was even 6 days a week. And so instead of sitting there lamenting it and resenting your business, you just changed it. You said, we're going to close on
yeah,
Mondays
yeah,
or close on
yeah.
Tuesdays.
Close on Tuesday. Yeah, and people got used to it. You know, you worry about what people are going to say or think. It's like I've always kind of been like, if you don't like it, don't come, because this is what we're going to do. And people are fine. You know, I still get people, why aren't you open on Monday? Everybody needs coffee on Monday. It's like, yeah, but then I'd never have a day off. And so, and the great thing about closing on Tuesday, didn't skip a beat. I make the same amount of money. Is that crazy? I cut
Yes.
out a whole day.
Say more about that. I want to hear what
Yeah,
changed. How are you making the same amount of money in 4 days that you were making in 5 days?
yeah. Because they come when you're open. Everybody comes on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. But I am, and you know, it cut back on payroll. Payroll is my biggest expense. Payroll is crazy.
Even more
But
than food cost?
well, it's probably about equal.
Okay.
Maybe no, payroll probably a little more. Because I'm very frugal on my food costs, man. I go to Sam's, I got Cisco, I got this other IWC. I'm always trying. I got Walmart delivery. You know, I'm always trying to find the better deal. But and I pay my girls good. One of my girls I've had 4 years, almost 5 years, which is insane in, you know, retail,
Yeah.
small business. And my other girl, I have two baristas up front. There's two girls up front and me and Kayla in the back. We've had a fifth person floating occasionally over the years, and it never seems to work out. And the two baristas would rather work more and keep more of their tips. Because I've told them, I go, I can get another person to help you. Because sometimes it gets crazy. We got a line down the hall, and they're like, no, no, we can do it. And so, you know, I'm very, you know, I take their feelings into consideration. You know, I'm not a hard boss. It's like, what do you guys want? You know, let's do it. And so they said, you know, they don't want any extra help. So it's just the four of us.
Yeah.
And you know, the 4 weeks off, they get paid for two of them, 2 of the weeks, you know, but then, you know, and I ask them, you know, do you mind if we're going to be closed? Do you need, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, no problem. They'd rather have the time off. You know, it's kind of like
Is it
they enjoy their time off more.
is it the same 4 weeks every year, or do you sort
No,
of
it
move them
switches
around?
around. Well,
Got
one
it.
of
So,
one of them, it depends on one of my baristas was going to Disney World in February. And usually we don't take a vacation in February because we always take the week after Christmas off because we're exhausted after Christmas.
yeah.
We're done and it's slow. Everybody's on a diet for the month of January and then they fall off in February for Valentine's Day. But so we don't usually take a week off in February, but she had tickets to Disney World. See, one of my employees can afford to go to Disney World.
Love it.
That's how, yeah, yeah, because I know it's crazy. I tease them all the time. I go, you can go down the road and work at Bridgestone for $22 an hour. And they're like, no, because we have the biggest Bridgestone plant, the tire company here.
Oh,
But
interesting.
but yeah, they make more than the Bridgestone workers. So, you know, it's like that's great. With tips, you know, and hourly.
So you are
But
6+ years in, Sally. I'm curious if you look at the totality of your experience and you rewind the clock and someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to start my own business or I'm going to open one or I'm going to buy one." Like, what advice would you give them based on your experience in getting this up and off the ground and to a
um,
place of success?
well, you have to absolutely love what you're doing. You have to have that passion and the drive and the stamina to do it. You just have to have the vision and the I mean it's a lot of boxes to tick to I don't know, you just have to know what you're doing or have the right vision of what will work and what won't. I don't know. I don't it's hard to explain cuz it's like I knew this location was going to be successful. So you kind of have to know the demographic. You have to do a lot of research on your demographic, you have to know who your customers will be and how to cater to those people. It's a lot of research and a lot of, trial and error. There's some things that like we make and we think it'll be fabulous and nobody buys it. And it's like, or like social media. Oh my God, social media. Facebook is the best. We put something out there on Facebook, it'll sell. And that's amazing. And it's, free advertising.
Yeah. So
And so
for
you
that,
got to
are you just posting it on your Facebook page for your business or are you putting it on the Facebook deal portion? Like what are
no,
you doing?
it's just our Facebook page, our
No?
Instagram, our Facebook. My daughter does all the social media. She does so good on the social media. She makes all our menus. We post our menu every Tuesday. So everybody, because our menu changes every week.
Oh,
And so every Tuesday we post our menu so everybody knows what we're going to have, but they still call. But people don't listen, they don't read. But they so yeah, I don't know, it's just a lot. You just got to really do your research and learn the business, the ins and outs of it and have I don't know that you got to know what you're doing. You have the right idea in your head and kind of make it happen.
yeah.
My husband helped a lot with like the renovation. You have to have a team. You have to have a support team of professionals. The professionals that help me run this place. My accountant, guidance, I do guidance payroll. All these professionals that I need to help me make this happen,
Yeah.
And I pay all y'all for that too. So,
No,
I'm pretty proud of it because
you should be.
everything's
It's
working.
very cool.
Sorry, my phone. But yeah,
So,
it
so, so
and
Sally,
I've
the
never
name,
done this before.
well, kind of. You've done the barista thing before. You've done the
Yeah,
baking thing before. You just never put it
yeah.
together as your own business until now.
I never
So,
did the business part of it. And that's
yeah.
where I struggle, with the Zoom meetings and stuff. Cause I did guidance payroll Zoom meetings was the first time I did a Zoom meeting when payroll was changing something and they made me do it. And it's like, because, I'm not technical.
Well, you're a pro now.
Okay.
So, Sally, the name of our podcast is Create the Life You Want. And I'm curious to ask you the question, how have you been able to use your business to create the life you want?
Let's see. How have I? I guess what I've tried to do is have a perfect balance of work and social life and relaxation and family. And so therefore the 4 weeks off a year, it's more of a
Yeah.
balance where cuz it's like I like to work. I enjoy my work and I enjoy having this place and I'm proud of it and I want it to do well. And so it's fun to me too. I mean, I would be here longer, but my family, I have to go home. and do home stuff. But I don't know, it just makes me happy and proud of it. So and then the 4 weeks off and the 2 days off a week, so we've made our schedule work to make us happy,
Yeah.
because life is short and you don't want to, suffer.
Well, and it sounds like the business has done well regardless. And so any fear that you
Has.
would have had on that has sort of gone away, realizing that you can build it the way you need to build it to give you what you need.
Yeah, yeah, it's like build it and they will come type of deal where field of dreams, because that's like when we cut out Tuesday, we thought, oh, people are going to get, very upset, but they just come on Wednesday now and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, uh-oh.
Sally, I'm curious. Do you sell any of the things that you have online out of state or just only in the sort of local market?
Only in the local. We don't ship because
Okay.
we're afraid the quality. We
Yeah.
can't guarantee the quality of it. Yeah. My daughter just recently started making clay earrings, and we have shipped some of those because she put them on her Instagram or her TikTok or something. She's recently started making TikToks too, on her cake decorating, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah, the baked goods we don't sell.
Okay.
Got to come and
Well, what, if anything, would you like to share with our audience? Is there anything you want to point them to or any message you would want them to hear?
um just go for it. It take the leap of faith and find a good location and your passion and just go for it. Life is short. Don't, you know, it'll be fine. And it's fun. It's fun to have your own business. You you do what you want when you want. You don't have to, you know, answer to anybody. It's all your own ideas and it's freedom. It's freedom, but it's hard work and it's worth it, I think.
And it sounds like it taps into a creative aspect for you too, right? The
Yeah.
fact that you're changing your menu every week tells me more about you than maybe necessarily the business model, right? Unique
Well,
challenges and
yeah, we don't want to make the same thing every day, all day. That'd be drudgery. We like to, and people look forward, they have their favorites, and all the time we get, make this next week, or can you make this, or are you going to make this? And so it's fun to hear everybody's favorites, what they like. And the veggie quiche they hound me for the veggie quiche. But
the
it's good,
veggie
it
quiche.
makes me feel good, even though, they're, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? It's like, it's coming. So it makes you feel good that they want it. And that's what I like about the baking. It's like I love feeding people and making them happy.
Love
And
it.
so I know it's
Well,
fun.
Sally, I love your story. It's so
Thanks.
inspirational in so many ways. You get to spend your time working with your daughter. You've built this into a
Hmm.
family affair. It's helped connect you into your community. You get to flex
Hmm.
this love of baking that you have and this ability to create. And you haven't let traditional boundaries around what a business is supposed to look like get in your way. You've said, we're going to close for 4 weeks. We're going to close on Tuesdays as well, so I can get some days
Yeah.
off. Um,
Yeah.
that's really unusual and unique and incredible. So you should be proud of
Thanks.
what you've built.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess, I don't know what the traditional business 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I don't know. It's like we made our business fit for us. It might not fit for everybody, but it works for us and everybody's happy. I'm always making sure all my employees and my family are happy. And so, you know, I think they are. They say they are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Sally, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you taking the time to spend a little bit with us and tell your story. Thank you.
Thanks. It was really nice meeting you.
Thanks for listening to the Create the Life You Want podcast. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to future episodes by clicking the subscribe button, you know where. If you're an aspiring business owner, you may also want to subscribe to the Create the Life You Want newsletter for more inspiration and tips delivered to your inbox every week. You can find the link to that in the show notes, as well as on my personal website, jeremyames.com. If you've already decided you want to start or buy a business, consider exploring your financing options by heading to our sponsor's website at www.guidantfinancial.com. That's GUIDANT financial.com. See you in the next episode.